The sun bled over the horizon like molten copper, soaking the small frontier town of Redstone in a harsh crimson light. Dust rose in the air with every step of boots and hooves, settling on the wooden boards of the saloon porch and the church steps alike. People were gathered at the center of the street, whispering and craning their necks to watch the cruel spectacle about to unfold. On a raised wooden platform stood 3 tribal women, their hands bound with coarse rope, their feet bare and bruised. They were silent, but their eyes, burning with pride and fire, spoke volumes. The auctioneer, a greasy man with a hat too big for his head, was shouting prices with the greed of someone who had never known mercy. "Fine young squaws. They'll fetch a good price as workers. $20. We'll start with 20. Ethan Calloway pushed his way through the crowd, his jaw set, his dusty duster coat trailing the sand from the desert ride. He was a man who liked crowds or noise, but today was different. His gray eyes hardened at the sight of the women on that platform. 2 weeks ago, lying in the desert with a bullet wound tearing through his shoulder, he had looked into the same defiant eyes. These women had saved him, pulling him from the edge of death when no one else would. "Stop." Ethan's voice thundered over the murmur, drawing every gaze toward him. The crowd parted slightly, sensing something dangerous in his tone. His hand rested on the worn grip of his coat, and the set of his shoulders said he wasn't here to bargain. "I'll buy those 3 women," he said, his voice steady as iron. The auctioneer faltered. "Mister, this ain't a—" "Without them, I'd be dead." Ethan cut him off, his voice slicing through the dusty air. He turned to face the crowd. "I was left to die in the canyon. These women pulled me out. I won't let you sell them like cattle. Name your price." "I'm paying." The sheriff, lounging under the shade of the saloon porch, squinted at Ethan. "Calloway," he drawled. "You sure you want to do this? Folks won't like it. They'll call you a tribal sympathizer." Ethan's hand didn't move from his gun. "Let them call me what they want. I don't care. I owe these women my life." A tense silence swept the street. Some men grumbled, some looked away, and some, faces twisted with greed, hoped for a fight. The auctioneer licked his lips nervously. "Well, highest bid was $20, but if you're willing—" Ethan pulled a pouch of gold coins from his coat and threw it onto the platform. It hit the wood with a heavy thud. "That's more than enough. Cut them loose." The crowd buzzed with whispers, but no one stepped forward to challenge him. The auctioneer's hands trembled as he untied the ropes, and the 3 women stepped down, their heads held high. Ethan led them out of Redstone, the eyes of the townsfolk burning into his back like coals. He loaded them onto his wagon, offering them water. The desert wind cut across the plains as they rode west, the sky stretching endlessly above them. The youngest of the women, no more than 18, clutched her older sister's hand. The elder one, Mother Kiva, watched Ethan with a calm but guarded gaze. The third, Naeli, sat at the edge of the wagon, her amber eyes locked on the horizon. Her beauty wasn't the delicate kind. It was fierce, carved from survival and fire. A scar ran along her jawline, a silent reminder of battles she'd faced. "You don't have to be afraid," Ethan said as they rattled along the dirt road. His voice was low, almost gentle. Naeli turned her head slowly, her eyes narrowing. "Afraid?" she repeated, her tone sharp. "You think we fear men like you?" Ethan felt her words cut through him like a blade. He wasn't offended. If anything, he understood. "No," he said quietly. "I think you fear no one. That's why I'm alive today." She didn't answer, but the faintest flicker of something, maybe curiosity, passed over her face. They camped near a narrow creek that first night. The desert's heat gave way to the cool breath of the evening, and the stars lit the sky like 1,000 tiny fires. Ethan built a campfire, its glow painting the women's faces in warm light. Mother Kiva finally spoke, her voice rough like wind over stone. "Why do you do this? You could have walked away. Many men would have." Ethan stared into the flames. "Because I don't forget who saves me, and because I can't stomach what they were doing to you." The youngest woman, Sani, glanced shyly at Naeli, but Naeli's gaze stayed on Ethan, sharp and measuring. "What will you do with us now?" she asked. "Nothing," Ethan replied. "You're free. You can stay at my ranch if you want, just until you decide where to go. No one will hurt you there. Naeli tilted her head, studying him. Men who say no one will hurt you are often the ones who bring the knife. The fire popped, sending sparks into the night. Ethan's lips twitched into a faint smile. Then you'll just have to keep your knife sharp, won't you? Something softened in her eyes, but she turned away before he could see more. By the second day, Ethan sensed danger. He spotted dust clouds in the distance, riders, likely the same men who'd captured the women. Bandits didn't let their property go easily. That evening, while the women slept, Ethan saddled his horse and scouted the ridges. Sure enough, he found signs of pursuit, hoof prints, cigarette butts, scraps of leather. When he returned to camp, Naeli was awake, sitting by the fire with a spear she'd fashioned from a sharpened stick and a scrap of metal. "They're coming," she said softly. Ethan nodded. "I know. You saved us," Naeli said after a pause. "But you'll bring death to yourself if you keep us." Ethan crouched down beside her. "Then I'll fight death. I won't let them take you." Her breath hitched slightly, but she looked away, hiding the emotion behind her fire-hardened mask. On the third day, as they crossed a rocky pass, the bandit struck. A shot rang out, echoing against the canyon walls. Ethan whipped the reins, urging the horses faster, while the women clung to the wagon. Bullets chipped stone around them. "Down!" he shouted. He drew his Colt and fired back, hitting one rider square in the chest. The others hesitated, but didn't retreat. Naeli grabbed the rifle from the wagon bed, her movements quick and sure. She aimed and fired, the shot ringing true. One of the bandits toppled from his saddle, dust exploding around him. Ethan glanced at her, momentarily stunned. "You can shoot?" "I can kill," she said coldly. Together, they fought off the bandits until the last one fled into the distance. Ethan's breath came heavy, his hat lost, his shirt torn where a bullet had grazed him. He turned to see Naeli standing over the wagon, chest rising and falling, her amber eyes burning with wild light. "You fight like a warrior," Ethan said, unable to hide the admiration in his voice. She looked at him, and for a moment their gazes locked. The silence between them was thicker than any words. They didn't speak much after that, but something shifted between them. As the wagon rolled over the plains, Ethan found himself glancing at her often than he meant to. She carried herself with a quiet strength that stirred something deep inside him. That night, when they camped again, she surprised him by sitting closer to the fire near him, as if some invisible wall had lowered. "You have no family?" she asked suddenly. Ethan shook his head. "Lost them. Long ago. This land, it takes more than it gives." Naeli looked into the flames. "I lost my people. You are not the only one the land has stolen from." Ethan turned to her. Maybe we can give each other something back." Her eyes lifted, meeting his. The firelight danced between them, and in that moment, neither of them felt as alone as before.